Hi, my name is Matt,
I'm Amy.
and we're the Cincerello family,
We have our daughter Lily, who's 12, and our son Kyle, who's 9.
and we've been attending the Light of Christ for 12 years. Yeah, so what started our journey at Light of Christ was, we were having the birth of our first kid, our daughter Lily, and I grew up with faith, but not really connected to it. Amy didn't have faith, and we decided that it was important to expose our kids to faith and let them make the decision to have it in their lives. At that time, we did not believe in God and faith and didn't think that it was going to be important in our lives. We just wanted to expose our kids.
Yeah, we actually went church shopping, and it was literally the Goldilocks story. Some were too big, some were too small, and Light of Christ was just right. So the next steps after the baptism were a little rocky. We tried to get up every Sunday and come, but it just wasn't natural to us yet. We actually met some friends in the membership class, the Jacobs family, and we would text each other on Saturday night, "Are you going to go to church?" Or "We'll go if you go," and make some plans. And it really wasn't a regular process to come on Sundays until Lily was about 2 and she joined the children's choir. And we were kind of forced to come regularly to watch her sing. She wanted to go to church, and she dragged us out of bed and said, "Come on, let's go. I want to go to church." Our relationship with Jesus was strengthened every time we stepped further into serving, and every time we got connected deeper into the ministries here at Light of Christ. It wasn't necessarily just the Sundays every week that did it. It was when we took extra steps and went further that it really helped make us feel comfortable here and within our faith.
It was at a service, and the church was starting another initiative, and Amy had told me that she had other friends who she always thought about incorporating into a small group, and from someone who didn't want to be a participant, all of a sudden during that middle of that service, I felt compelled. And I remember being so excited, someone was pushing me to just start a group ourselves.
The Light of Christ equipped us with everything we need. They gave us training and made it pretty simple for 2 people that didn't necessarily know what we were doing. The church-wide initiative with the small group studies was so special to us and helped us in our faith journey. Every time those come around, we like to encourage other people to join small groups. The small groups have really been the glue that kind of hold us all together.
One of the missions of Light of Christ is to meet people where they're at. So it makes it really easy to invite someone to attend here because they're going to experience what we experienced, which is the first time we showed up, people were just welcoming, and they could feel where we were in our path in Christ, and they accepted us exactly where we were and let us grow into it naturally. And so we always feel comfortable inviting people into this environment. Everyone here did a really good job explaining what tithing was. I had no idea what it meant.
I do remember getting caught up on the details of like, okay, it's 10%. Is that gross or is that net? How do you do the equation? And thinking that was a big scary number and not something, especially when we were living with one income, that would be attainable. And then able to see how it made an impact on us, and that if we were able to be more generous, we could help make impacts on others. I think that's what flipped a switch for me.
Hearing enough of the messages, we said we're going to take the leap. We're going to, return more to God's kingdom than we have been, and He will find a way to provide. And sure enough, it happened that way. He was able to provide for what we needed, and then ever since then, we've just continued to grow our hearts and the amount that we return back year after year.
I mean, Jesus talks about it quite a bit, and so there have been several sermons that we've gotten to listen to, the stories that Jesus wants us to hear, and it took hearing those stories over and over and some of the lessons several times for it to really sink in deep. But the message that stuck with me the most was giving my first dollars to God. Not just looking at the budget and seeing what would be left over, but to give it away before you know that you'll even have it, and letting that be an act of faith where you trust in God and He will provide.
In that campaign, I was the advocate. I was like, nope, you come with me, come jump with me. We're going to do this. Like, God will provide. Like, I felt, I could feel it. I knew it was going to happen. Like, we could trust in the Lord. And, the second time around, it was a complete opposite. I was the hesitant person because I was like, I wasn't thinking of giving first, the first fruits of your labor. I was like, okay, I'm not sure what we're going to have left over, but we have enough to give left over. And it was nice to have a partner who, the first time I pulled, but this time she was pulling me, and we do a good job of being able to pull each other together through those moments of hesitation.
I used to think that there was just a finite pot, and that if you gave a lot of it away, you'd only have a little bit left. When in fact, when you take that leap of faith and you give more of it away, Jesus is going to replenish, and He's going to give you exactly what you need. so that you're not without. And that in itself is encouraging, so that you can continue to keep giving and giving more away, and Jesus will constantly just make sure you have exactly what you need.
I've had talks with people who were thinking about taking that next step, and I tell them it's scary. Like, you give them the perspective, it's scary. Like, we've gone through it, and we went through it again recently. Like, it's still scary to do and always going out of that comfort zone. But I think it becomes an easier decision if you can sit back and put some perspective on your life and look at what's been provided to you. And if you can answer the question, did I provide it for myself, or has God provided it? I think it becomes a lot easier to come to the solution of that you need to return it back to God. It becomes a lot easier to be generous and to give it back.
Yeah, it was never ours to begin with,
Yeah.
so we need to give it back to God.